Well situated.
There we go.
All right.
Shows up late, that's fine. And all of you that are watching this now, my name is Pat. I'm a silver leader with Young Living. I've been with Young Living for almost 3 years now. And I decided to do this with the ranks based on another leader, Nikki Flynn, who just turned Diamond last month. In one of our leadership groups, she mentioned she was doing this, and I thought, what a great way to get to know people and to get people to know each other in the same ranks. And so we're going to kind of compare notes afterwards too. So part of this is not just to talk about, you know, oh, hey, we're all senior star, but let's talk about our struggles too and our fears and what that rank means to us and where we're going to go from there. For me, I absolutely love the star and senior star ranks. I love it when y'all hit because to me, it's just such a huge accomplishment because when you first start out, at least for me anyways, it felt like just those two ranks were unattainable. Like they were just like so far away. How do I get to star and senior star? What do I do? Oh, did you guys freeze? Is my connection bad?
A little bit.
Okay, there. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes. You're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I love senior stars and star ranks because I just think that they're, you know, they're those first ranks. And when you hit those, they're so exciting and it's fun to celebrate that. And then where do we go from there? Once you're a senior star, I'm glitching, aren't I? I see you guys freezing. I think I don't know, my connection's not great, guys, sorry. I think once you hit senior star, though, one of the things that I find is that you become the beginnings of a real leader because now you've got some people under you. You have to have that 2,000 OGV. You know, you're probably not selling, you know, 20 kits a month. Some of you might be, Marshall. You could be, but
one day.
But you know, chances are we're not selling 20 kits, right? And so you've got to have people under you. You've got to start having a downline. You've got to start being leaders, and sometimes that can be a bit of pressure. You know, you can start feeling a little bit of pressure, and you can start feeling nervous about, oh my gosh, and from here I have to get 4,000 OGV to get executive, and I've got to have 2 people. You know, all of the mechanics start coming into play. But the great thing is that this is the time to really start building that solid leadership foundation, that base. I rose up to silver very quickly, and it was a little too quickly, I think, for me to, I had to really learn as I go. I have been. It's really only been the last year that I've really felt like, okay, I feel comfortable as a silver in my skin, and I'm ready to go forward. I got silver 4 months after getting my kit. And so, yeah. And so, and it wasn't because of big enrollments on my part. It was just, you know, we had a growing team. It was awesome, you know? And so, but when it all came around, the struggle was, how do I maintain this? And now I've got all these people under me, and I've got strong personalities under me, and I don't know how to manage everything, and I don't know what I'm doing. And so with life happening last year, I took a step back, and I lost my rank. I was executive again for a long time. And that just demoralized me, and I just felt off. And I had to really learn that my rank doesn't determine who I am as a person. It doesn't mean I don't deserve it. And crawling out of that mindset and really just shifting my focus and realizing that a lot of it came rushing too quickly, and I had to take a step back, and I had to really learn some tactics and tools. And I really had to take a look back to what it felt like to be a star and a senior star, because I didn't keep those for very long, but I was probably more excited when I hit star and senior star than I was when I hit executive and silver, because I did those. To me, that just felt like that was the natural progression, and it was new and exciting. And I wasn't handed this downline all of a sudden and you know, meant to maintain this higher level rank. And all of a sudden people are like, well, you're a leader. So for me, I started really looking at it. Senior star, I think, is a time that you can start setting that foundation. You can start looking at yourselves, you know, as leaders without it becoming super overwhelming, but still being able to move forward. one of the things that that I've learned along the line too is that we have to shift our focus sometimes, and it's hard to shake things up. It's hard to do things differently if we're used to doing it in a certain way. I have a mentor in the Young Living's office in Utah, and we had a Zoom meeting today. We had a conference today, and he gave me this quote I want to read to you guys, and it was from when he was in high school. His baseball coach told this to all the kids, and they complain about practicing. They complain about they're not, you know, they're not up to bat first. Well, why is that? You know, whatever. But his coach would tell him, if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you always got, and you will always be what you've always been. And so it really was, in a way, he was trying to explain to them, you've got to shake things up. Look at what, if you're struggling, look at what's not working. You know, it's like that definition of insanity. You know, what it is to be keep doing everything over and over, expecting a different result. Well, if we start off as leaders in this rank, knowing that we're going to shift gears sometimes and that things are going to change, and help ourselves be comfortable with that, get over any fears we might have with that, it's going to be a much smoother progress, and your business is going to really grow a lot quicker. We have so much opportunity in this, and so many. That's why I'm hoping more Crossline will get involved with this, because whenever I've worked with Crossline, it's just amazing to learn from each other and to support each other. And, you know, one thing that Casey, the guy in Young Living office, always tells me, he says, you know, Team YL is what's going to make or break this. If we're Team YL, everybody's going to benefit. You know, we can learn from Crossline. We can learn from other people. We can, you know, go to other people if we need to, if we need help. And it's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. So one of the things I really, I've got my notes here. Oh yeah, another thing that we talked about is aligning ourselves with our goal. So once you hit to Senior Star, it's important to keep a clear focus of what is your goal. What is the goal that you're going to be going for? You know, probably moving on to executive, you know. And you know what, and the honest to God truth is, if just hitting this rank is good enough, you're paying for your oils and everything's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to move on, what's that end goal? And so you got to align yourself with that goal. It's like playing soccer. You know, you don't look at your foot when you kick the ball. You look at the soccer goal, or the person that you're going to kick the ball to, because your foot's going to follow through with that. It's going to put you in the direction that you want to go, towards that other player or towards the goal, the soccer goal. So it's the same with this. You got to keep looking forward, looking ahead. You know, what is my end goal for the next 3 months or whatever? Where do I see myself in 3 months? And where do I want to be? And you keep that focus and keep going for that. And at the same time, you're looking at what's not working and what is working. And you're reaching out to not just your leaders, but to each other. And, you know, forming this camaraderie. So one of the things, I guess, from you all is your perspective. I think I glitched again. You both are frozen. Oh, am I back? One of the things from you all, I guess, is just to find out, what are your thoughts? Since it's the two of you, people are going to see this. So what are your thoughts on the rank you're at now and going forward from here? And it can be your fears, it can be your doubts, it can be your triumphs, it can be, you know, your passion, whatever it is. I promise you, we've all experienced it or are experiencing it right now. So I'll start with Heidi. Heidi, first of all, how does it feel? How did it feel when you hit Senior Star? And second of all, what is your thoughts as now you're here? What do you think this is going to take you from here?
My thoughts are, it happens very fast and very organically, and I love that. My fear is I want it to continue to be organic. Though already in my virtual office, it's showing me what I need to do to become an executive. Of course, I need legs, which I don't have. But it's kind of forcing me to, like, I've reached out to a couple people in public with the job opportunity, which is so freaky. But I gave them a sample of the oil because of their personality, because of our interaction and because of the job that they had. And I just waited. And then, of course, where do I get the oil? So I mentioned the job opportunity too. So that's I don't know, it's a little freaky for me because I'd rather it happen organically, but I just don't know how that's going to happen except with lots of patience, which I have. I don't mind waiting for it either.
But organically, when you say that, because the good thing is that this kind of is an organic way to do it, because you knew these people would be more receptive probably to the business. And so you went with your gut instinct and did the whole, keep my eye on the goal. And you might have a couple business people now, you never know what will happen. But it's that's really smart. That's a smart thing to do, definitely, putting yourself out there. It is scary, though. I never wanted to talk about the business, like on my wall or with my friends, because I don't want them to think I'm like, hounding them or something. But, glitching. But one of the things that Eric War says, that we've been given this opportunity, and it's a gift that we can give to somebody else. We don't know. Maybe they need that extra $100 a month. Maybe they need that extra $1,000 a month, whatever it is. Maybe they hate their job and they want to find another way out. And we don't know that until we approach them with it. I mean, they have the right to say, no, I'm not interested, and then you leave them alone, But I think that's really smart. So do you have fears about going forward as executive? Any thoughts on you? Yeah, Heidi.
Am I serious about it?
No, I mean, do you have any fears surrounding it?
Oh,
or struggles or thoughts on that end of it?
No, except I just don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, no, it's just your thoughts and any fears or struggles you might foresee or you're nervous about going forward. I know you said you want it to happen organically, but even, once it happens, I mean, just your thoughts on any of that.
No, I don't have any fears. I just have to get started. Seriously, this whole month I have spent all my time, because all the kits that I sold were from social media. So I haven't done a class yet except my parents, which was just for fun. And so my whole month I spent spending time with people who already bought a kit, which was great. It was awesome. Lots of personal time. But I feel like I'm doing it backwards for sure. So I need to do a class. I need to start doing it not backwards.
Right. I did it backwards. I'm actually with that boot camp, I'm actually where you guys are. I'm doing the same thing you all are doing with it. I've only done one live class. I did a bunch of online classes, but I've only done one live class. And now I'm switching that. It's like, okay, let's do some live stuff. So I understand exactly where you're at. Trust me, even at my rank, I get it. Right there in the trenches, y'all. So, Marshall.
Yes.
What about you? What are your thoughts, feelings, fears, excitement, triumphs, tragedies?
Triumph, tragedy. It's so funny. All those things can happen in like a couple of months. Mm-hmm. All of what you just said. Yeah. Nut. For me, I'd have to say my why was a big thing. It was my passions are what even got me here. I had a lot of help from my upline, which I'm very business-minded already because of the past jobs I've had to have. And because of that, I told my husband quite early, actually. It had only been like a month and a half in. And I said, well, with all the help I'm getting from my upline, I already foresee the human tendency to relax. Mm-hmm. And so I called myself out on that before it even was a thing. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I explained to him and I said, I like what they're doing. I get it because I understood the business structure quite quickly and what it was doing for them and what it could help do for me. I said, but the momentum and the excitement I'm having from these oils is diminishing a little bit because I'm getting this much help. Like I'm getting this much help compared to where my passion, my motivation from the oils and me going for the jugular was kind of tapering off. So for me, I think right away I understood that I always like to come up with a worst case scenario in my head. And my worst case scenario in my head was, well, you may stay at a certain rank a little bit longer than you'd particularly like. Then when I had that thought, I had to wrap my mind around, well, what's so bad about that? Because to be honest, we've been living on my husband's income for 3 years, like since we've been married. So for me, there's not that rush or extra pressure. It's whatever pressure I have, it's purely just me. I have to agree, though, too, with Heidi, where my other crossroads, that's one part of the crossroad. The other part of the crossroad is wanting it to feel organic. And for me, I actually had the issue. I didn't have any issues going live or anything like that. The issue was connection with people. I'm so big on that I'd rather have the people, like I can tangibly touch you in front of me, and get interactions with people. And of course, like having classes and different things like that, than I would doing the social media portion of it. So it actually took me a little while niche was, and then how much social media is too much for me, just personally, because what happens, just because of how I am, what happens is once I use one channel and it works really well, I'll overuse it. Right. So I'm just trying to keep that balance between the two, and ironically enough, just keeping the culture of what Young Living is what it is, just keeping it that way, which means, having that one-on-one time with people. As long as I keep that, I don't care if I go from silver to senior star to gold to whatever, as long as I can have something I'm proud of out the other end of it. So for me, that's what it's really all about. The ranks are just, to me, bonuses. My family's wellness has been tremendously the biggest motivation I've had at the end of the day. So for me, I think that's the focus I'm trying to keep is what got me here, what it's all about, and keeping that in perspective. And as long as that's the case, I think naturally everything else will fall into place just because of how I naturally am. I'm a talker.
And that's I am too. And that's an important point to bring up about it sounds like you taking responsibility for your business. Like you said just at the beginning of this, you were getting a lot of help from your upline, almost too much help. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we do fall into that, and it's very easy to fall into that pattern where, like you said, you don't do the work really because you're going to get that much help. And if that help doesn't continue, then we get those expectations of, well, they're going to do that, so I don't really have to. And then they don't, and then you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I think that's an important point to bring up, to start early on, just really owning your business. Mm-hmm. About that a lot. I know I'm glitching, huh? Oh, this terrible connection. But really owning your business, and I think that's really important for people to remember, and starting it at these levels, stars and senior stars. It's really important. You mentioned culture, and I'm reading this book called Soup by John Gordon. And one of the diamonds in that Diamond Talk, the 12 Days of Diamonds, Aaron Rodgers recommended the book. And there's one section in there where they talk about, it's written as a narrative, so it's kind of a story, but it's a business book. So it's interesting the way they do it. So this one, the main person, the grandma in the book who makes the soups, talks about soup as culture. And it says, just as soup is a direct reflection of the soup maker, so is the business culture a direct reflection of the leader. The soup and the culture at Grandma's were one and the same, and both were a reflection of who stirs the pot, as well as the values, principles, and ingredients the stir mixed into it. And so when you say you want to keep that culture, that's a really important point to remember, that, there's a reason we all picked Young Living, right? We could have gone in any direction. We could have picked, if we just wanted to make money, we could have sold makeup. I mean, I have a friend doing that lip stuff, and she's making a killing, But I don't want all that toxic stuff on me, and I don't want to share that with people because, that's not who I am. I went to Young Living because of the culture of Young Living and the camaraderie, the community spirit, and the all of that. And so in our own businesses, if we can keep that passion of ours alive, that culture, I think that's going to continue to move our business forward. We're the soup stirrers, right? So we're going to put that into our pots with our people.
Yep. How
do you feel about the idea of getting to executive, Marshall? Because I see both of you there, but Marshall, you've got that.
It's funny because the scary part is I have such a tendency towards ambition that I'm trying to harness. What's difficult with me is my ideas are much larger than literally I feel I could keep up with. The ideas come and then I get the people on board and then I'm like, oh God, now I have to do it. And it's not so much a fear of failing. It's actually a fear of so much success that I'm not keeping a work-life balance, ironically enough. So, because I've done that in the past and speaking from experience. So with this, it's 2-leg ideas that I have, and they're not even really ideas. They're just a matter of when, not if. One of them is a boutique gym here in New Jersey. And he literally trains NFL athletes. Like he does like combine training, and he has a lot of, I didn't know this part, but he has a lot of clients that are overweight that are looking to do a dramatic change with their weight loss. And then there's another one where it's kind of in the same category. And so the idea behind the 2 things, he already has the clientele. He buys, a Sleek, or not Sleek, but Ningxia or something like that, and off he goes.
Right.
And they're already going to him, trusting him to refer to him, every kind of supplement and everything else under the sky. What should I use for this or that? And he doesn't have an answer for them because he doesn't use them himself because they're not natural. And he's like, I don't like that stuff. But now that he knows he has an option for something natural, well, now I'm like, oh gosh, and I have this leg that's just going to take off. He has every kind of team coming through, lacrosse and football. There's never a season he's not training somebody.
Right. That's fantastic.
So, for me, it's fantastic. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things, just kind of like, what am I going to do? Like, am I ready for this?
Well, it's balancing it with your business, because we always laugh about the thunder thighs. And that's, I have the thunder thigh. You all are in the thunder thigh.
Yeah, I'm afraid of it. Yeah.
So it's like, I walk with a limp, and
yep.
And so that's part of, I've learned over the time. See, when we first started out, now Wendy did it right. Now, when we first started out, though, we were taught stack to silver. Always stack to silver. And then once you hit silver, you're golden. And then you're there. You're moving along. Well, all of us stack to silver, listening, and we all have learned this. All of our leaders learn differently now. And we realized, oh my gosh, now we got to start over because we have gold, platinum. We have all these legs to build, and so there's all those struggles that happen, and then when you have that thunder thigh, it's like, man, you guys are going crazy, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I'm still working on. I'm still senior star executive level. It's like, come on, guys, we can get you forward.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I
have to say that there is something to be said about that. I quickly understood. I think I don't even know if I was a star yet. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense to go wide and then go deep, get this many legs and then start making them strong underneath that. It's just the idea of how to pull that off when you see things like a thunder thigh possibility. And you're like, oh, I don't want to lose that possibility just because I'm sitting here worried it's going to become that.
Right.
And all this other stuff comes into your head. So it's almost like,
yeah, sometimes you can change that, you know what I mean? And you just got to let that roll. And that's okay, too. It's a good problem to have. Right. I'm not going to lie. It's a really good problem to have. You don't have to worry about that. You got one leg that's got it,
Yeah.
But yes, but as we're enrolling, it's like balancing that out. You both are so business-minded. One thing I always see with both of you in your posts, in the boot camp and all of that, is that you guys have, I sense, a really good balance of what you want out of this and what is realistic for your time right now. but you both seem very committed. And I have to say I really appreciate that. You know, you guys are very consistent in what you do. And I think that that's a huge key in the success of moving forward, is that consistency. And that's a lesson learned on my part from taking a step back last year, you know. I really appreciate you guys a lot, as, you know, your upline, but as hopefully, you know, your friend too. I mean, you guys are really, you're amazing. And I think people can learn a lot from each of you on how to do this business with thought and with care and create that culture and that balance, Heidi, and that, you know, all of it. The organic, I love the idea, Heidi, how you talk about it. You want it to be an organic process. So many people come in here and they're like, well, why can't I get a staff? Why can't you just put people under me? Why can't you, you know, and it's really refreshing to see. And I'm not saying anybody, you know, I'm not talking about anybody specifically, but that's just something that happens, you know, and to see somebody come in who has the same drive as both of you, that it's like, I don't want as much help, and you don't need to, you know, I want this to happen organically. I don't need you to hand me the golden ticket, you know, because part of our process in this business is really that personal growth, I think, and really learning more about ourselves and learning who we are, you know, and as leaders, as business entrepreneurs. And if we're handed everything, you know, it's like giving your kid everything that they ask for, you know, you raise a spoiled brat, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And, but when you have to work a little harder and you have that commitment and you know it and you're going into it knowing it, I've never once heard an excuse from either one of you. Not once have I heard you guys make an excuse about why you can't do something, you know?
You told us you don't want to hear it.
Or you just say no, you know? You know,
that's great.
Heidi's in her car, you know, I mean, you're stuck. It's like, you know, you either say, no, I'm not going to do that, or you do it, you know, against all odds. And you don't tell me, well, I've got A, B, C, you know, it's just like, I can, but I can't right now, you know, or I can, but it'll be tomorrow morning or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is so admirable. And that's something that as leaders, you guys are going to really do well imposing on your team and instilling in your team, that sense of, you know, there's no excuses. There's no right or wrong. You know, if you want the business, you want it. If you don't, you don't. And that's okay. It's just when you hear people making those constant excuses, it gets frustrating. So that's something I really appreciate in you guys. That you're very honest, you're very forthright, and you're very committed, and you're thorough. You know, Heidi, when you're writing your stuff in the boot camp, man, it's thorough. You know, it's like so lovely to read that, because it's like,
get it, girl.
You know, I mean, you've thought about it, you know, and it's important that we do that. So I really see, I won't keep you guys much longer, but I really do see you guys as being not only good leaders for your teams, but I think that you guys can really bring a lot to Crossline and to, you know, other people out there in the team that might want to hear from you. And if you guys don't mind, I'd like to recommend if people want to message you all for your strengths and for your thoughts.
Absolutely.
You know, so anybody watching this, please, 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 you know, message them. You can find them on my friends list. If you're not friends with them already, ask them whatever questions. They both bring amazing strengths to the table. And I think these are two women right here too that are not afraid to look at their weaknesses either. That's something that working with you guys the last few months, I've really noticed, that it's like, you're not afraid. Both of you said to me, I don't have a fear about it. It's just a realistic, you know what I mean? And that's awesome, because that's what people want. You know, people need that. I really appreciate you guys. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about, or?
I think my only other thing that's come up is a couple of business opportunity, and it would be implementing Young Living, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the idea is that basically you see a lot of people, they kind of take over their lives and say, I don't know, they lose a lot of weight or something like that. And then they start posting on Instagram, and suddenly they're becoming these like wellness advocates that are self-branded, and then they're entrepreneurs, and then their life takes off and they make money this way. Well, anyway, what ended up happening with myself was the past couple of weeks, I've been having something brewing in the back of my mind because I was finding that just getting these oils in people's hands and educating them wasn't enough for me. And so it's almost like a part 2 to my why of doing Young Living. And so there's a little bit of self-discovery going on whilst being sick. And what ended up happening was a couple of people, I ended up telling my husband about it. I said, I finally figured it out. This is what I want to do. And, you know, in your mind, you're like, okay, that's your idea. And you're thinking, all right, now I got to get people on board. And I got people on board so fast that it's kind of scaring me. So now the idea is that I would, the title I came up with was Whole Health and Wellness Advisor. And basically the people, I'm like going to be acting as a contractor and utilizing other friends that I have that are close to me that do, I have a holistic health practitioner that's a dear friend of mine who also treats me. There's a team of like janitorial, deep cleaning and all that kind of stuff. And then there's also obviously my leg that I'm scared of. My future leg, the guy who has his gym boutique, and one other woman who does Beachbody. But with all those, the idea is to give people who are going through probably life transitional things, whether it's a divorce or just want to revamp their lives or declutter their house, but to give them all aspects of a holistic life and kind of do, you know, have clientele that basically are coming to me saying, hey, here's the money, show me what I need to do from beginning to end, sort of, and then empower them to keep going.
That's
and so,
awesome.
Yeah, so the idea is that I'm basically contracting them. I'm their contractor / advisor, but I also have my reservoir of people for you to contact. They get paid, I get paid. And then, of course, the prerequisite, client prerequisite would be a starter kit, get on ER.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's a big deal because I got a whole clan of people saying, sign me up. My goodness, this is a genius idea. And it's scary. So talk about like getting sick probably because you're scared. But, you know, the other part of me is like, this goes back to, you know, the amount of time I spent taking care of my mother. You know, all of it comes back full circle. It fully is, my enthusiasm went fully into just when I did a couple of events in Connecticut just a month ago, and now they want me back in a couple of weeks. These ladies, they needed the product, but at the same time, you know, where we're hosting, she needed her house cleaned. So I went a little nuts. And after it was done and I left, she's texting me like, oh my God, I still have a broom and mop in my hand because of what you did when you came, and, you know, from top to bottom. And it was just, she literally couldn't physically do it. It's not even that she didn't want to. And so I was like, I can't put these oils in people's hands and they not go as far reaching as they could, all because they're overwhelmed in decluttering or overwhelmed on reaching that ceiling fan to clean it. You know, so for me, it was
a great thought, you know,
yeah.
giving them those tools and resources and other avenues so they can utilize what they're going to get from Young Living. That's really, that's, you know, a really amazing way to give back to.
Yeah.
Great way to give back to the community and, you know, that make people feel important.
Mm-hmm. It's the personableness that I'm hoping that never leaves the business as I rank, you know, or not, that like, you know, Heidi, what you said with the organic feel behind it, like I can't deny that that's definitely going to be a part of it, you know, from the time that I consult with you and do a consult and tell you, okay, this is what I'm discerning that you need, all the way to, you know, me empowering you with the tools that you need to get it done. And then after that, you know, you just keep on going. So
what a great motivator too, because as you rank up and as you hit those higher and higher and higher ranks, the freedom that you're going to have to pursue that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you're constantly all along the way giving back to other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, Marshall. I really appreciate
Hey.
that. Yeah.
Yes. Steal the idea. Please do. Do it in your respective areas, you know, Texas, Florida, go nuts.
Hey, Heidi, let's franchise it.
Yeah. Like, seriously, let's do it. Because you just never know. You never know. Yeah. It's a big deal. So.
That's really exciting to hear. I had no idea you were pursuing something.
Yeah, I may be needing your help is what I put that out there for. I may be hitting up Heidi like, so how do I clean?
Right. I have to go clean houses.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it'll be far reaching. You know, I'll be requiring my
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And what a great gift you're giving other people too. And on top of it, these are people that you're giving the business opportunity to too, if they want to take it. You know, that they don't have to, you know, physically put themselves in a position where they're either, you know, a slave to disability or constantly wrecking their bodies.
Yep.
Further and further down the line just to put food on their table or pay their light bill or, you know, whatever it is. And you're giving them an opportunity to change all of that, which is all about that wellness thing. That's one of the things that we tend to forget is that, you know, we get so focused on, oh, the oils and wellness, and we think, you know, physical, you know, what's going in our bodies, on our skin, in our stuff. And there's a whole other side of that, which is the business opportunity. You know, that some people, if they can work from their home and they have this opportunity to change their lives, like all of us technical are experiencing, who, you know, I mean, that's a gift. That's a gift to give somebody too. And I think we get so caught up in the whole idea of like money that we forget that there's this whole other side to that way of thinking, mindset change that we can make in our own selves. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that's the opportunity I'm just trying to keep a full grasp on, is that while I have my husband who is working a 9 to 5, that I'm like, while this is the momentum's going, make sure that you utilize it to your best, you know.
Yeah, I have the time right now. Yeah, definitely. Heidi, do you have anything else to add before we?
No, I don't think so. I, like Mars, is every day just racking my brain. I come home and I tell my husband, okay, these are my ideas. And he's like, you're constantly thinking. So I totally get what Mars is saying for sure. But yeah, I'm just have to put all those ideas to work, really.
Yeah.
The only bad idea is the one you don't explore, is what I keep being told.
That's the truth. That is absolutely the truth, you know. You know, you guys, you know, we're all in charge of our own success or failure, you know, and if we don't try, I mean, who wants to be that person at 90 years old saying, if only I tried, you know? I mean, you know, that's like for forever, that's all you thought about. Well, I should have tried, you know? I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the reality is we're seeing a lot of people, lives being changed on all across the board, you know, no matter what that means to people. I was just saw a post in one of the other groups by somebody who said they get $300 a month. Oh no, they had medical bills. That's what it was. They were saying, don't ever feel like just because, you know, you're a star, senior star, and you're only getting $100 or $200 a month, that's not a lot. She goes, I'm slowly paying off my medical bills. And I had one bill that was nagging at me, a smaller bill. It was $150. She goes, and my check was $159. And she goes, and that bill is off my desk, you know? And she had been paying like $5 a month on it, you know, chipping away at it. And so that's the thing that we all have to remember to tell our people, and remember with ourselves, that, you know, no matter what is, it's all life changing. I mean, if it's just that for them, you know, she's got one less bill off her desk. She doesn't have to think about it anymore, and she can move on to the next. So I love it. I love everything I hear from you guys. I would love to continue talking to you guys another time. I really would. You guys are amazing.
Thank you for all your hard work, Kat.
Yeah. You really do put in a lot of hard work. I was like, oh, she is so consistent. Oh my gosh, this book. I'm serious. I was just like, how do I do that?
You want to come clean my house, Marshall?
Yeah. Seriously, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. That's great.
No, I love working with you guys, and I really love doing this. I love what I do, and that's really the drive, you know. Finding my niche in it is really, I love this kind of thing, like Zooms, focus groups, all of that kind of thing. I I get so much out of it. You guys teach me so much. So I thank you guys for trusting me and moving forward and allowing me my failures and my keep rambling and all of that. And to learn right alongside y'all, because it's to me it's just it's I appreciate being able to be of service to others, so it means a lot.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, all right, ladies, you guys have a great afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Kat. Bye-bye.
Message me
Bye, Heidi.
anytime. Message me.
Bye, Kat. Will do.
Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye-bye.